What's up everyone? In this video today, I'm going to be fulfilling a request a subscriber made in my Q&A video that I did a little while ago, and that is to make a video detailing stock pads, how to know which one you need to use, and the differences between different types. See you in a second. Okay, so whenever I refer to a stock pad, I'm talking about the pad that simply goes on the end of the gun that your shoulder is actually making contact with the gun. It's that pad. So it's also commonly referred to as a butt pad that is on the gun. This is a very key component of the gun because it's actually where your shoulder and the gun are going to come together. So if you don't have that area of the gun fit correctly, then you're going to rub your shoulder raw and you're going to have other problems down the road. So this is a key area for longevity of the shooter in terms of recoil reduction and also felt recoil and not rubbing your shoulder raw and messing it all up, because we shoot a lot of shells over the course of the year, especially at some of the bigger tournaments. So you don't have as much room for error, if you will, if you're a competitive shooter, for this to be off even maybe as little as a 16th of an inch. So the first thing you have to understand in this area is exactly where the pocket of your shoulder is. And the best way that I have found to find your pocket of your shoulder is to simply lift your elbow up to where your bottom of your bicep is parallel to the ground, and then feel for where the pocket is, where the fleshy, kind of softer part where there's no bone, there's no muscle. Feel where that's at, and that's exactly where you need to be mounting the gun at. So this can take a little bit of trial and error. That's the best way to really find the rough estimate of where your pocket is, and sometimes you can almost hit it dead on whenever you're doing it that way. And sometimes it takes a little bit of shells that you're just going to tweak it a little bit till you get it adjusted perfectly. So let's go ahead and talk about the stock pads themselves. Let's talk about some of the factory pads. I remember whenever I've seen some of the Krieghoffs, I actually got mine used, but the stock pads that come on those are pretty bad. You probably need to move on from those. They're like plastic hard material that, they'll cut into your shoulder pretty good. So you might want to move on from those and get something like this. This is a Kikis. I've used Kikis for years. They make a great product. So one thing about these pads though is you'll see them at different thickness levels. You'll see some that curve like this. Mine's for the most part pretty straight with just a very, very slight curve in it. It's not really all that thick. Some of these get pretty thick, out to maybe about here or somewhere in that ballpark. But I'm not really a huge fan of the really thick ones if you have a recoil reduction system. So for me, I have a precision fit stock that I'm using, so I'm going to get one that is kind of small to medium on the thickness, because to me that's what feels comfortable. If you get it too big, I think that it can be a little bit too thick. It can be a little bit difficult getting into the pocket of your shoulder the same way exactly every time. So for example, on this Beretta 3901, I just have a regular Graco unit, so it's a little bit thicker. And honestly, if you're shooting this type of a gun that you're shooting it for traffic, Beretta 3901, some other semi-automatic, let's say you don't have a recoil reduction system on this gun, that's when you might want to get a little bit more thickness into these Kikis stock pads, is so that you can minimize the recoil. It gives you a little bit more recoil absorption there. So that is one reason why you would want to do that. Now, like I said, personally, I don't recommend you get a really thick pad if you're going to be having a recoil reduction system like a ProSoft or a precision fit stock or a stock lock and so on. Maybe even a Graco I could see having a little bit thicker, but they're pretty good at minimizing recoil, so that's going to be up to you as far as how it actually feels. I know guys in the past that I've seen, they go and they buy a medium one, a small one, and a large one in terms of thickness, and they go and they try all of them, and they wait and they see which one actually feels better by actually shooting shells through each one. Another thing to think about too is, let's say you have a gun that is not adjustable, but you have the ability to put a stock pad on, a nice stock pad. Well, you're going to want to look at your length of pull that you need, which is simply the measurement essentially that from the trigger to the back of the stock pad. So that's your length of pull. What does that need to be for you? If you're not able to adjust the gun, so I can screw this in and out with the Graco unit on here, but let's say you don't have that ability. you're going to want to set the thickness of the kickies based on what's going to fit you the best. So that pretty well covers the thickness there. Let's go ahead and move on to the curvature. So curvature of these kickies pads is going to be completely based on the formation of your shoulders. Some guys have shoulders that are curved a little bit more. Some guys have shoulders that are a little bit more straight. For me, my shoulders are a little bit more straight, so you'll notice really on all of these guns, and this one's a Browning XT as well, they're all pretty much straight. Very little curve in terms of the actual curvature of this kickies pad. It is pretty straight. It's got a little bit of a curve up here at the top, and a little bit, you can just barely see a little bit of curve throughout the kickies stock pad. The reason for that is what works best for my actual shoulder, is a little bit straighter. Now, I know guys that, you know, they need to have that little bit of extra curve, so this is something that you very much have to experiment with. Find that pocket of your shoulder and go ahead and put it on there and see what feels good. You know, if a little bit more curve feels great to you, then go ahead and get the one with a little more curve. If a little bit of flatness, if you will, almost straight feels good, then go ahead and get that. This is very much something that will impact your shooting, and I think it will also impact the amount of recoil you feel, because if something is off whenever you're putting the gun on your shoulder in terms of how it fits, whether it be the cant that it's off a little bit both ways, the actual cast of the stock, if you will, where it's off a little bit too much this way or it's off a little bit too much this way, instead it needs to be more like this, you're going to feel that. If it's off in the recoil tension adjustment on your precision fit stock, let's say, then you're going to feel that as well, because that is the direct area that is impacting the gun going onto your body, on your shoulder. So if anything is off here, you're going to feel more recoil. So make sure you get this right. Spend some time on this. It's a great off-season project just to go look at the kickies pad to make sure that you get everything right there. You can kind of work through it in the off-season, try some different ones, and then you're ready to go for the season whenever it starts up. So thank you guys so much for watching today. I really appreciate the idea for this video. I hope this helps you out a lot and gives you some more information if you're looking at buying stock pads of exactly which one you get. So thanks for watching today. I appreciate it. You can subscribe to my channel here. You can also watch another video here. Thank you guys for watching. Go have a great rest of your day.